Hey Internet, Eric here. Well, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm finally going to jump into the Wishmaster franchise here on my channel. I've seen the first one many, many times. I've seen the second one, I don't know, maybe a handful of times. And I remember jack shit about parts 3 and 4, but we'll get to those eventually. So, obviously, I've already pretty much said what I'm going to talk about today. Today, I'm going to talk about Wishmaster. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, all that jazz. Um, excuse me. This came out in 1997. The basic plot of this is we are following some blonde. I don't know her character's name, and she works at a company that inspects jewels, finds their worth, that type of thing. And she comes across this red jewel, and inside this jewel, a Djinn has been imprisoned. A Djinn is like, an evil genie. Think about it that way. We'll get into into like the backstories and stuff like that. But she comes across that. She frees it from the jewel, and the Djinn wants her to. I think her name was Alex. Um, the Djinn eventually wants to convince her to use three wishes, and once the third wish is granted, the whole race of Djinns will be freed and be able to come to Earth to take over. And it's up to her to stop it. It's pretty simple. Um, this was directed by Robert Kurtzman, who is one of the letters in the K&B, effects company. A lot of people thought this was like a Wes Craven movie because it says Wes Craven Presents. He was just like executive producer. I don't know how much he had his hands in this movie, but anyways, we'll get to the characters. The girl playing Alex, likable, nothing special. She's good at what she does. Trying to be the investigator when she needs to be that. Um, she's good at being scared, good at being tough. She does pretty decent. The other characters we follow the character of the Djinn. First off, is one of the coolest looking um, creatures I think in horror history. Love his look. Here's a little bit of what he looks like. It's a little different. This is what he looks like in part two, but love the way he looks. The makeup is fantastic. Played by Andrew Divoff, who I only know from Graveyard Shift. He's one of the guys in that Stephen King movie. Um, and he's really good both under the makeup and in human form because eventually the Djinn, comes to present day, 1997, and he steals the face off of a cadaver and morphs into his human form, Andrew Divoff, and he really is really good at looking menacing. His voice, the way he tries to be evil, but also when he's trying to fit in the real world, trying to make us think he's just a normal suave businessman. He's really good at doing that, being suave and calm and collected and professional looking. So Andrew Divoff is great. This movie is known as being kind of like before there was an Expendables, like being the Expendables of horror because we also have Robert Englund. He plays Mr. Beaumont, who is a collector of like rare, not artifacts, but like stone statues and stuff like that. And he comes across this old thing, this old artifact, this stone carving, what have you, from like ancient wherever Aladdin takes place in. Um, and inside that was a jewel that the Djinn was put into, and he comes across that, and we'll get to why. But Robert Englund he's good. He's not being hammy. He's not being fretty. He's being like he's being a prim and proper and smart collector, and he comes off fine. Um, Other horror people thrown in here. Kane Hodder plays a security guard who's just a tough guy. He's fine. Tony Todd is in here as the guy that you're not on the list type of thing for one of Beaumont's parties. He's good. Buck Flowers is a homeless guy like he always is. Angus Scrim, the tall man from Phantasm movies, is the narrator. I'm trying to think. Reggie Bannister from the Phantasm movies is the pharmacist that dies due to Buck Flowers. Get into that. Um, I guess Tom Savini is in the pharmacy scene. I don't remember seeing him. Anyone else? I don't know. But so we got all those horror cameos as well. The other actors and actresses in this film, they're nothing special. We have the younger sister of Alex. She's just there to look cute. We have the potential boyfriend. He's just there. The only character that I do like is eventually Alex has to find out the story of the Djinn. And he meets this professor who says it's nothing like Aladdin. You know, the Djinn from like, is it Aesop's fairy tales or whatever? Or Grimm's fairy tales, something like that. They're from this ancient land. And like I said, I don't know, wherever Aladdin is, you know, where it's covered in sand. Yeah, as bad as that sounds, one of those countries. Persia. Fucking hell. The Djinn have mystical powers, and they always twist your words around in your wishes to also fulfill their sadistic needs. And that actress is really, really good at being kind of a stone cold bitch, but she's not, you know, trying to be type of thing. And I liked her a lot. So overall, the acting isn't too bad. I already said I liked the way the Djinn looked. The makeup is super cool. I love the deaths in this movie. The gore is fantastic. First off, the opening scene, we're in ancient Persia. I fucking remembered it. And we are with the king of Persia. And the Djinn is telling him, you know, granting his wishes. And it's causing all of his subjects to be violently murdered and tortured. Their skins being flailed off, you know, faces melting and skeletons coming up. People being transformed into like lizard creatures. And it is stopped by the wizard, who is, you know, also an advisor of the king. Just think of Jafar, but not evil. And he traps the Djinn in the amulet, or in like the crystal or whatever. But that opening scene is straight out of like a Hellraiser movie. Think like Hellraiser 3, but with better gore, and you actually see stuff happening. Which also takes me to Mr. Beaumont's party, you know, Robert Englund's character. Same stuff happens, but this time we have the wires of pianos coming off and going across the man's face and ripping it apart. We have Robert Englund vomits up this weird alien creature. More impaling, just this and that. Robert Kurtzman, being the director, helped make this movie gory. It really does feel like a Hellraiser movie. And what also helps it feel like a Hellraiser movie is the way that the Djinn talks. This prim and proper talk. This proper like British type of talk. It sounds like Pinhead, the way Pinhead would talk to any of his victims. So it's a really cool, like I said, it feels like I'm watching Hellraiser 1997. And just remember, there is another recognizable person all in this film, although he's not recognizable in this. When the Djinn is broken free from his prison, that the actor in like the little mini Djinn, I guess you would call him, you know, was Vern Troyer. Looks disgusting, but great makeup effects as well. And one of the things this series is known for is, like I said, the Djinn will take your wish and twist it around. And that's what's great with the creativity in this movie. That's what kind of separates it from being kind of like a Hellraiser clone, if that makes any sense. Like, there is a scene where a med student walks in on the Djinn, like I said, taking the face off of the dead person so he can take form of the body. And the kid's freaking out, and the Djinn says something, "Do you wish to not be able to see this?" And he says yes. So he says, "Wish granted." And skin covers the kid's eyes, so he can't open his eyes. He meets Tony Todd, and like I said, Tony Todd's tired of his job. You know, he's like, "Okay, you're on the list. You can go to the party," type of guy. And the Djinn wishes, "Don't you wish you can escape?" And Tony Todd says yes. And I won't spoil that if you haven't seen the trailer. I won't spoil that, how it gets put into a situation where he wishes he could escape. Very creative. I love how Kane Hodder, as a security guard, says, "The only way you're going to get in here is if you walk straight through me," or type of thing. That happens. So I really like, and there's more to it. I like what happens to the black lady who's working at the fashion store. So like I said, really creative ways. And I like how Alex defeats the Djinn in this. I did not see that coming. Obviously, the Djinn is foiled by his own magic type of thing. That you can see coming. But the way she did it, I thought was really cool. We get this somewhat happy ending. Oh, Ted Raimi's in this too. Everything Sam Raimi does. He is in this, and he gets a cool death. We'll just say that. Anyways, I got distracted. Yeah, I really like the way she defeats the Djinn. It's really smart, really crafty. Anything negative about this? Like other than like I said, the acting of non-Alex and the professor and Robert Englund, there really isn't anything in this movie that don't. Well, there's a lot. There's a thing where Alex is like now mentally linked to the Djinn because she's the one that woke it. She's examining the crystal, and of course she breathes on it and rubs it like the whole genie and the magic lamp thing, and that's what causes the genie to wake up. But then she's not there when he comes out, type of thing, or the Djinn. She now has like a psychic link, somewhat to the Djinn. So whenever there is like a murder happening, or the scene that's actually really cool is when the Djinn collects all of his souls, from the people that granted the wishes. She's psychically linked to that, and it's just a lot of her screaming into the camera. It gets annoying after like the fourth or fifth time it happens. So, but other than that, no, it's really good. Oh, I mentioned Reggie Bannister. His death as the pharmacist is really disgusting. He goes off on Buck Flowers. Buck Flowers, if you don't know who he is, he's a homeless guy in every John Carpenter movie. He's a homeless guy in Back to the Future. He's Red. He goes at it with Red, kicks him out of the pharmacy, and then he just Buck Flowers gets mad and wishes the pharmacist dies of cancer. And then it's just vomit and face melting and blood out of the mouth and really gooey stuff. So I actually really recommend Wishmaster. Makes me feel like I'm in a Hellraiser movie. I love the look of the Djinn. I love the dialogue and the delivery that Andrew Divoff gives. The gore is really, really good. Top notch. Very wet, gooey, visceral. I love the opening scene in Persia. The way it looks is really great. The ending, the final party at Beaumont's is really great. The creativity, it's just a lot of fun. Highly, highly recommend Wishmaster. Not too sure about Wishmaster 2. I don't remember that much, but you can't see with the glare. Fuck it. But we'll get to that. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell. All that crap that I say in every video. Comment below. Tell me if you like Wishmaster, if you hate it, if I should stop here, and don't talk about the next 3. Yeah, got a lot of interesting things coming up. Me and the wife, when she's been ill, when she gets better, we're going to continue our I Don't Want to Watch That series. It's her turn, and I've already watched it, but we got some stuff to discuss. More stuff from the podcast, Two Bearded Losers, Bloody Sunday, all that crap. So in the end, I'll just say cheers and be careful what you wish for.